Welcome to This May Get Raw, Building Wise Resilience, a podcast by survivors for survivors. I'm Lisa.
And I'm Sarah. As domestic abuse survivors, we know what it's like to rebuild after the unthinkable. We're here to walk alongside you, from surviving to thriving. Each week, we'll invite you into honest conversations about the hard stuff and the powerful stuff. The shame, the fear, reclaiming your identity, and stepping into the life you deserve.
This may get raw, but that's where transformation happens. Let's get started. Hey, Sarah.
Hey, Lisa. How are you today?
I am really excited about this episode.
Me too. We are a week out from Christmas, and I feel like this, I know, right? It's
oh
crazy.
my gosh, I literally thought we had 2 more weeks this whole time.
You know?
That's not funny.
1 week. But I feel like that makes this episode particularly well timed. So yeah, I'm really excited. And I know you had a fun story to kick us off for the day.
Oh my gosh. So this episode is going to be about self-care.
Yay!
And we have, this threads in so beautifully to the work that Sarah and I continue to do as Survivor Thrivers. We have been recording these episodes once a week. And we had so we are batching all of this content, and then we will release it every week once all the episodes are done. We're both new to podcasting. We're both trying to figure this out. And we really wanted to be kind to ourselves because you're an entrepreneur. I have a traditional job and we have lots of responsibilities. And so I was speaking with and we had a certain order that we wanted to do all of these episodes in, 1 through 12. It made complete sense.
You're very organized.
Very organized, as we both are. And I was talking to my therapist and I was just saying, this is just really heavy stuff. Like, we did this episode on shame, and then we're going to talk about grief. And I was like, I want to make sure that we take care of ourselves in the midst of this. And we don't want to lose momentum. Mm-hmm. But ultimately, we have both committed to doing the best we can and to take care of ourselves. Like that is the top priority for both of us. So she's very excited for us to be doing this podcast. And she just haphazardly says, oh, well, if you're batching the content and you're releasing the episodes whenever you want to, why don't you just record easier topics during the holiday season? And my brain just went,
right? Mind blown.
Like, what are you talking about? That's insane. So I was like, okay, let me talk to my co-host about it. Let me talk to Sarah. And she's like, because you've got to keep going. This is such important work. Keep going.
And she's right. Yeah.
And then you had the same response. You're like, we are 2 educated, intelligent women. Why did we not
think of this? Yes.
So while we were practicing self-care by continuing to ask ourselves each week, is this something that we want to do? Mm-hmm. She just beautifully brought in. So it is a week before Christmas and we're talking about self-care.
Yes. And I mean, I just love that because, first of all, I mean, just laugh so hard. Like, how did that never occur to us, right? But I just love that it shows what self-care in practice looks like, too. Like, it can be, it doesn't have to be like send yourself on a spa weekend, right? It's the little things that make you feel more supported day to day.
Right. And I think the important thing for this episode is framing what self-care traditionally looks like, mm-hmm. or Instagram self-care, bubble baths and eating chocolate.
Yeah.
And vegging out, which are all valid,
all of those
and
things.
Important. Yes. However, for those of us that are survivors, we're working with our dysregulated nervous system. Mm-hmm. And as we have stated many times in this podcast, we are not professional healthcare providers. However, the general term about nervous system, a healthy one and a dysregulated one, is a healthy one is you can ebb and flow, mm-hmm. with certain things that come into your daily life, your moment to moment. You can meet that where that is. You can calm yourself down if you're startled. You can anticipate something and move through the anxiety. Mm-hmm. In a dysregulated nervous system, we are sometimes way hyper vigilant, or we're outside that window of tolerance.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is harder for us to manage. So when someone regulates, says in all good niceness, take a bubble bath, you seem stressed, and you're like, I can't calm down, like I'm too hyper vigilant,
Right.
I can't, that like terrifies me to be quiet for 5 minutes.
Right.
um and so
Or
I
to be
just, as,
vulnerable sitting naked in a bathtub, like,
oh
yeah.
my gosh, yes, yes. And so I just want that to be a thread as we talk
Yeah.
about all of this is, people are well intentioned. Some of those things are helpful, but when it comes to us as survivors, self care looks really, really
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
Can't it?
It
We can
can look
incorporate those things. It can look different,
different.
but there is a basis. And I loved what you wanted to talk about as far as self love and self trust.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we're talking, I mean, I just want to add on like to the traditional self-care. Again, well intentioned, but if you haven't done some of the deeper work, or if your nervous system hasn't reached that point of regulation, it's, taking a bubble bath, getting a massage, eating the chocolate. It's like a band-aid on a bullet hole. It's not actually helping anything. It might momentarily feel good and give you that, dopamine hit or whatever, and that's great, but it's not actually going to help solve the underlying problem of your nervous system just cannot relax.
Yeah.
So for me, self-care, I mean, I would take a risk and put a bet that self-care is a hard one for most survivors, especially early on. And for me, getting to the point where I could actually engage in healthy self-care and get to that point of nervous system regulation and eventually move into a place of self-love was I had to learn to trust myself again. That was the self-trust was the foundation for all of that, right? You need to relearn to trust yourself before you can relearn to really love yourself. Because I mean, if you think about it, to really love someone, anyone, in a deep, healthy way, you need to be able to trust them. You need to feel safe with them.
Yeah.
And I had ignored my intuition. I had ignored my instincts. I had made myself so small for so long. I didn't actually trust myself anymore. So I had to relearn how to trust myself before I could even really figure out what self-care meant to me. And we're going to talk a lot about the different ways that you can engage in self-care in a deeper way. But for me, that was the foundation, and that showed up in a lot of different ways. One of the biggest that I keep coming back to, Lisa, as you and I talk, and just as I think about my experiences, when I first got out of that abusive relationship, I was not used to being completely in control of finances and buying decisions, and being able to like go buy myself the little treats that bring me joy, right? And I did go a little hog wild, and I let go of the shame of that because I think it was a pretty natural reaction. And it was also kind of damn fun for a while, which I hadn't had that kind of fun in a long time.
Right.
But I did get
Yeah.
myself into some debt. I made some not great financial choices. And I learned that part of the self-care and self-trust is parenting yourself in that way where you're setting healthy boundaries for yourself. So, I had to get to that point where I was like, okay, we're going to rein this in a little bit, not from a place of you're a bad person, you're a piece of shit, he was clearly right, you can't do this on your own, you're
Right.
terrible with money, right?
Yeah.
Not those voices, but the voices of, okay, this has been fun, but
Right.
I love you, and it's time to take better care of our life together, right?
Right.
So yeah, learning to trust myself that I could learn to manage the finances and stick to a budget and take care of myself financially. The more I learned I was capable of kind of like those basic things, the more my nervous system was able to regulate, and I was able to engage in then some of the other self-care practices that we're going to talk about today. So for me, the foundation really was learning to trust myself again, that I was safe with myself. I would take care of me no matter what. That was really the key for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just want to validate. Thank you for sharing, right? Um, and also, you said something regarding like making yourself small and kind of self-abandoning.
Yep.
In an abusive relationship, we have someone that is actively making us small,
Yeah.
is actively telling us things. So our nervous system is protecting us when it's dysregulated,
Hmm.
right? So it is helping. So when we're learning to trust ourselves, we don't have the hurdle. We have money hurdles, one of which is we're trying to figure out how to trust ourselves and how to love ourselves. But then also we're battling the mental shit and sometimes the physical shit and the physical consequences that we've experienced, right?
Hmm.
So I just want to, it's as always, as I think we are probably we're on our fourth episode at this point, maybe only our third, and I feel like I'm repeating, like everything is
Yeah.
nuanced. It's different for every
Yep.
person. But for a survivor in an abusive relationship, you have someone actively trying to erode the trust in yourself,
Hmm.
your gut instincts. Um, and so it makes it that more complicated when we are trying to love ourselves and figure out, like, what do I love? What
Hmm.
do I like? How do I take care of myself? What do I do?
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's just a really important part of their journey. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so many layers,
So many
so
layers,
many
as
layers.
always. But yeah, I mean,
As always.
it's like everything else we talk about on these episodes, the learning self-care and self-trust, and it's a process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not that Instagrammable, do this one self-care thing every day for a week and you'll magically feel better, right? It doesn't work that way for survivors.
Right, right.
We need to kind of reframe how we think about self-care as a whole, to approach it from um a place of more long-term taking care of ourselves, and not just the short-term immediate
Yes.
pleasure, right?
So it's not taking care of our current, it's taking care of our current selves, but thinking of ourselves in future, our
Right.
future selves.
Yep.
I was thinking of this conversation we were going to have. I was thinking about like some of the first things that I did to take care of myself. And one of them I referenced in a previous episode was how I spoke to myself.
Hmm.
And I was thinking about how I couldn't look in the mirror and say nice things to myself. Like I felt uncomfortable. I would look down. But it was this. And so I'd have sticky notes. And it was my therapist saying, like, you get to practice this.
Hmm.
I was not having fun in the moment. I was not enjoying that,
Yeah.
but I was taking care of myself. I was rewiring those negative comments, you're a piece of shit, you can't do this, you're worthless, into I am enough. And that was very not pleasant. It did not feel good.
Yeah.
However, it was okay. 5 months from now, I want to look different. I want to keep moving forward. And I'm trusting the people around me and the professionals around me. They're saying this is important, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I remember that being one of the first. And then, interestingly enough, that led to me actually standing in front of a mirror. And I was like, it wasn't just my head.
Yeah.
It was like my whole body. And I was like, So then I had to go through it all over
Right.
again.
Yeah. Like, well, this is harder
Right.
again.
This is harder. And then fun, maybe story for another time. I got to a point where I could not get rid of the negative things that were said over me, that I actually went ahead and got a boudoir shot, photo shoot.
I love that for you so much. I love it.
And I'm saying, again, like, not everybody needs a boudoir shot. Not everybody needs to record a podcast. But it was leveling up that self-care to go, this is working, this isn't working. I want these messages out of my head. How do I do it? And so it's thinking of your future self as you're slowly going through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's building that infrastructure for yourself, building the
Right.
foundation, stacking the
Absolutely.
blocks, and realizing that takes time, right? So it's
Right.
it's a commitment. It's something you do every day on a regular basis, not just when you're having a bad day and need a quick lift of your mood. Like there are you should do things that lift your mood when you're having a bad day, but that's not going to those things alone are not going to lay the foundation that you need to build to get to this point of wise resilience, being a thriver, moving past what was done to you to go on and live the rest of your life.
Right. Right. And some of those practices, they can be an escape in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but they're not long-term
Right.
solutions.
Yeah.
Right. Um, I did not know I didn't know what TV shows I liked. So I got to spend time in front of the TV. Now
Mm-hmm.
I had kids. I had a very busy life
Mm-hmm.
that I was taken out of when I left my abuser, and so I had a lot of time on my hands. It felt really good to be on the couch watching TV and just going, this is a disaster. My life is fucked right now. I'm just gonna figure out what TV show I like.
Right. Yep.
However, it got to a point where it was like, okay, this isn't going to serve me long term.
Right.
Right? I might allow myself one day a week. This is going to look different throughout my life, but like there was a time when I was watching TV that was the only time I could shut off my brain from all the shit that was going on.
Yeah.
Once I escaped or
Yeah.
once I removed myself from the situation. And so I think it's that self-care sometimes is an escape,
Mm-hmm.
but for survivors, it's active support.
Right.
It's using it for the purpose of moving forward and healing.
Yeah. Yeah, it is part of the process. And I talked a lot about this when we were talking about this episode, how to explain this to ourselves, even because we were struggling at first to be like,
Yeah.
it's, you don't want to just numb out entirely, right? And it is easy to slip into bad habits, right? But just like I was slipping into a bad habit with the spending, but it was part of the process. And the key to allowing the escapism to be part of the process that you need without getting stuck in it is to continually check in with yourself and ask you,
Yes.
is this serving the infrastructure I want to build in my life, or have I gotten to the point where I'm just kind of shutting down from the world, right? In a way that's not healthy. And that can be hard to discern sometimes, especially because our intuition has been shoved down and ignored for so long. Like learning to listen to our intuition when it does say, okay, that's enough. Like we need to cut back on spending. Okay, that's enough. We've watched enough TV for the day. Like we're learning to listen to that inner parent voice, that healthy inner parent voice. It is difficult, but it's key to keep having those check-ins with yourself when you are indulging in the more escapism behaviors, because there's nothing wrong with those, right? When used in a healthy way and not taken to an extreme, they work. It works to have an escape from the world occasionally and then kind of reset yourself and come back in stronger. Like just like I have a couple workout classes that I love, and part of what I love about them is they encourage, okay, you need a break, take a break. Go, get some water, go stretch in a corner. When you come back stronger, right? So it's the same kind of thing when we're using these escapes. They work to calm us down. They work to kind of get us back in a place where we can get back to building that infrastructure in a stronger way. But we have to listen to our intuition when it's telling us, okay, it's time to move again.
Right. And have grace for ourselves in the in-between.
Right.
Trusting, building up that trust of, I'm going to watch TV this afternoon. I'm not going to be here forever, but this actually is what I need right now.
Right. Yep.
Right. So we get to morph it. And so the last thing I think, again, with the wise resilience and self-care is not one size fits all.
Yep.
Right. We get to maybe see something on Instagram and go, oh, actually that would be helpful.
Try that. Yeah.
I'll try it. Or I can't afford that right now, but that's something I'd like to try in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, as always, we're inviting you into a conversation. We're inviting listeners to pick and choose what works, what doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
And allowing ourselves the freedom to, I think even part of it is with your situation, like allowing ourselves to make mistakes, allowing ourselves to try something
Yep.
and go, oh, that's not for
That
me.
doesn't
I'm
work.
going to try this exercise class.
Yep.
Sarah mentioned it was super helpful. Actually, this is disastrous and I can't do this. This is not fun for me, right?
Yep.
But in an abusive relationship, you don't have the option
Mm-hmm.
to play.
No.
You don't have the option to test something out. So that in and of itself is self-care
Right.
and growth to go line dancing. Okay. Let's just go. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I've never actually I can't line dance, but so I don't know why I just used that as an example. But anyway,
There was your intuition telling you should go try again.
there you go. Yes.
No, I love that. Yeah, we don't relearning that it's safe to try and explore and fuck things up sometimes without the
Right.
world crashing in on you like that's it's so liberating. It really is. Even when things don't go well, right? Even when you discover
Right.
something isn't up your alley or you do make a mistake and have to deal with some consequences. Just this your nervous system feeling that safety of you being able to be a full human and have the full human experience
Yes.
of playing and experimenting and making mistakes. Like that was, I mean, for me, that was worth some credit card debt, man. I tell you. I'm not saying
I
everyone go out and
love
go into
that.
debt, but I'm just saying, like, I gained a lot from going through that process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I remember I hired a financial coach because I was in a similar situation. I had a lot of debt. It was the only way I was going to get out of my situation was knowing I was going to require that.
Yeah.
And I worked with a financial coach and she is amazing if anybody needs a recommendation. And I remember we had check-ins at the first part of the coaching agreement. We had check-ins and I had found out I was getting a job as a consultant and I was going to be on site in I don't want to say where it was, but it was a big city.
Mm-hmm.
So I needed to show up. And I had been a pastor. So my clothes did not translate from the middle of the country. I spent $1,000 on heels and skirts and suits, and it was all how I shop is I shop and then I try it all on and then I return. I'm always good at returning. However, I went to have this coaching session and I was like, I fucked it all up. I blew the budget. Like I had so much shame.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her saying, I don't care if you spend $1,000. Like, and I was like, you don't, but you're supposed to be mad at me. I needed a figure in my life. Right. And she's like, no, that's part of the process. Like, so you course correct. And I was like, that's it. Like that, there's no lecture. And she's like, you don't hire me to lecture, right? Like that's the coaching is partnering with somebody.
Yeah.
But it was someone actually saying to me, it's okay that you took that trip, Sarah, or it's okay that you had that experience.
Yep.
It like nobody died.
Yep.
You're still standing and you have some extra money you have to pay off.
Yep.
Like, so
the end of the world.
Yeah.
End of the day, money's all made up anyway, right?
It's true. We all buy into this system. Again, not proponents of debt. All
not
saying that.
Advocating for credit card debt.
But some debt is good. I have student loans I'm still paying off. Anyway. So I thought we could talk about some practices,
yes.
right? I think that's super helpful. Yes. We have a list here of things that we came up with. So what are some ones that stood out to you that you wanted to talk about?
I love the body-based ones. So as I'm a writer, I am naturally an introvert. Like I naturally very much live in my head anyway. And then, the experience of being in an abusive relationship, it makes your body feel like a very unsafe place to be. So I think a lot of us tend to then live in our heads even more, right? and get
Oh, yeah.
completely disassociated from our bodies.
Yep.
So we can't even tell, by the time we get out of the situation, we can't even tell what feels good in our body, what our emotions feel like, right? So learning some body-based ways to reconnect, some physical ways to reconnect with my body and to reconnect my body and my brain. That was super helpful for me. I love I love going for a workout when I'm feeling super stressed. That just helps me get
Okay.
out of my head, back into my body. Whether it's one of my workout classes that I love, going for a walk, going for a run, just taking the dog around the block, moving my body in some way without
Yeah.
music, without a podcast, without my
Oh,
phone.
okay.
Like I go completely
Okay.
off grid and just focus
Okay.
on what I'm feeling in my body and the sensations around me. The five sense exercise. What are 5 things I can hear? What are 5 things I can see? What are 5 things I can smell? What are 5 things I can taste? I mean, usually don't get 5 things, but whatever. What are 5 physical
Yeah.
sensations I feel on my body?
Yeah.
Those things really are my go-to when I'm feeling dysregulated and like I can't shake that feeling of
Yeah.
unsafety.
Yeah. Yeah. One of the things for me is I know people can put cold water on their face.
Mm-hmm.
I am a hot water gal. I am always cold. And so taking a hot shower and just having the hot water pressing on my head instantly, I've actually realized that washing my hands can have the same
Oh,
impact.
interesting.
So if I can't take a shower, but especially on your pressure
Mm-hmm.
points, and it's just kind of like I literally will go, oh, I can breathe. Like I just kind of go,
Mm-hmm.
and then I realize I've been holding my breath,
Yep.
which is something we do.
Yep.
We don't
We do.
breathe.
Yep.
So for whatever that is, cold water or hot water, that sensation just brings me back into my body and allows me to just take it down a notch. Sometimes, more than that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so intentional breathing.
I love breath work. Yes.
Okay, so it's tricky.
It's
How?
tricky.
Because it can trigger me. So it's really because I have held my breath so many times.
Yep.
I still do it and don't realize it.
Yep.
And I have had loved ones just say, breathe.
Exhale. Yep.
And I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to breathe.
Yeah, it's breath work is tricky. You definitely have to learn which practices and techniques work for you and which don't. Like I can't do box breathing. That's the one where you breathe in,
No, me
you hold, and you
neither.
breathe out, and the hold. Like my anxiety is through the roof. I can't do that. Yeah,
Yes. Okay.
yeah.
Okay. I was thinking of that. Like when you said breath work, I was like, I can't do box. Like
No,
if you tell me, and I've tried it, and people are like, hold, keep holding. And I'm like,
wait,
I'm
I
going to
can't.
pass out. Like, that's ridiculous.
I'm gonna just improve.
Oh, I'm so glad to find somebody else I mean, sorry,
Oh
but
no, I work with a woman I found on LinkedIn. She's absolutely lovely. Again, if you want recommendations, she's a coach and she does a lot of breathwork coaching. So I've taken a bunch of her workshops, and I love. I'm sure there are names for all of them, and I'm sure she would remind me that she's told me them multiple times, but I can't think of them right now. I love the techniques that focus on the exhale. And specifically focus on the exhale when you're making some kind of vocalization.
Ooh,
That
yes,
is just
powerful.
like lie in a dark room and do that for 15 minutes. I always end up just like ugly sobbing, but it's a release that you don't even realize you need. And it does help if you're a
Yes,
person like us who tends to hold your breath without realizing it because you've been
yes,
so you know walking on eggshells and
yes.
hypervigilant. Focusing on that exhale, that full body exhale is just it's such a release. It really is.
Yeah, yeah. I love being reminded that I can have some sound when
Mhm.
I release.
Mhm. Yep.
And when teachers say, and make some noise, like, or make a loud exhale, and
Mhm.
it's like, ah, no.
I mean, there are some times when I've been doing
I
that
could.
when I do my breath work,
But
and I'm like, thank God there's someone else in the house right now.
right. But it reminds me that I have a voice to
Mhm.
use.
Yep.
it all ties back so
Yep.
beautifully. So I think my recommendation is, if anybody's listening to this that is a struggle, like there's so many different versions and you can adapt. And I love, there was a yoga teacher I had once that just continued to remind me, you have agency.
Mhm.
If something doesn't work for you, stay in child's pose.
Yep.
If child pose doesn't work, lay flat on your back. Like,
Yep.
you get to make this practice what you want. And so I would just encourage, if any of these things that we're talking about don't work, don't necessarily disregard, just adapt, right? So movement, I know you do hardcore workouts. That's not my thing. It has served me in the past. When I first left, I went to kickboxing classes. God damn, that stuff worked. Like, pop this, da,
Right.
da, you know? Now I'm 51 and I'm like, yeah, I don't got it to give. I'm not kicking anything, but I can get on a Peloton and I can ride, right?
Yeah.
So, some of these things may not work. Some of them will. And maybe a hot bubble bath does work. There's totally fair too.
Yeah. For a lot of survivors,
so,
that being completely still or being quiet and vulnerable just doesn't work for us. It doesn't make us relax. It makes us feel more anxious. So finding, a lot of times, especially on social media, when people talk about nervous system regulation, they're talking about feeling calm. But regulation isn't calm. Regulation is being able to handle the ebbs and flows in a healthy way without getting trapped in either end of the spectrum. Right?
yeah.
So if sitting still and quiet, like if meditation doesn't work for you, there are so many ways to be active and move your body and still get that meditative state in your brain. So it really is about, again, being willing to experiment and play around and try different things and see what works for you and what doesn't. And yeah, adapt to what you need in the moment too, right? Because this stuff is going to change, just like your kickboxing story, right? That worked for you for a time, and then you got to the next step in your journey and that's not what you needed anymore. So you switch to something else. Now you do yoga, right?
Right. Yeah. Giving yourself grace, allowing yourself to work with what and while experimenting and having fun.
There's no should when it comes to self-care, right? There's no, you should be doing this should make you feel better. Like, I tell my ghostwriting clients all the time, when they're nervous about how to tell their story or what writing a book looks like, I'm like, there is no wrong way to do this, right? We're gonna find your own way. There is no wrong way to do this other than not doing it at all. And self-care is the same way. There's no wrong way to engage in self-care other than not doing it.
Right. And again, as a reminder, depending where you are on the victim, survivor, thriver pendulum, it may seem impossible right now in your journey to think, I could go to a kickboxing class, or I could go do yoga, or I could even breathe. Like, I'm not able to get out of bed right now, right? So for those of you that may be in that spot, you have things to look forward to. You have possibility. And for those of you that might be further along in your journey, don't get stuck. Keep moving forward, right? It's that one precious life that we get to live, and how much of it was given to this over here. We get this much, we get to reset, and we get to experiment and have fun. So the one I wanted to talk about was boundary setting.
Yes.
And
love a good boundary.
So hard to do. And it's like one of the most important things for self-care, that if you're a people pleaser, if you're a perfectionist, if you care deeply about people, this is a huge one to overcome, but it is, I think, foundational to self-care. It's protecting your energy and your peace in your healing space. And saying no is, and this was a hard concept for me to understand, but having boundaries in relationship is me allowing myself I am loving myself, but also loving you,
Mhm.
because I'm not going to do something out of obligation. I'm not going to do something because I have to,
Yeah.
because I feel like I need to. It's like, I will then, my yeses are going to be really good.
Right.
And but it's trusting ourselves. It's, again, it's building that muscle. Um, and it is extremely challenging to do. But so important. So, like, saying no to, and especially in the holidays, needing to say no, wanting to say no, allowing ourselves to say no because we're too overstimulated, or we have, it's a hard time when memories come up. Like, saying no to not only people but to situations.
Mhm.
Saying no to ourselves. We're not going to watch TV right now. It's 12 a.m. We got to go to bed,
Right.
right? Like, there's so many ways to, yeah, there, I feel like this, and we are going to talk about
We are.
boundaries. We are going to have another episode on this. So maybe I'll let you add something if you have something to add, and then I'll move on, because I just totally forgot that we decided to do an episode on
I mean,
boundaries.
like all of these topics, we could talk about boundaries for days. No, I love saying no. I actually just said I feel like I'm talking
Do
about
you?
I do. I love saying no. I
I love
am
that for
talking
you.
about working out a lot today, which I don't know, I had to work out this morning, so it's just like on my mind. Um,
Yes.
but you know, these classes I go to, they when the instructors do allow and encourage modifications, I love that. I love to say no. I love to be in a
Mm.
workout and be like, that move doesn't work for my body, or I just whatever. I don't like it, so
Yeah.
I'm not doing it. Right? But it's
Yes. Yes.
working. I think this is why I keep coming back to it, because I've been realizing that my workouts were really the first space where I started to feel that safety again. That they
Mm.
were the first
Yeah.
people, the first spaces that made me feel like my no and my boundaries were being respected again, and that it was safe to say no to things.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a muscle. It definitely is a muscle that you need to practice using,
Yeah.
because at first it doesn't feel safe to say no to anything, right? Because we're so used
Yeah.
to just locking it down and doing what we were expected to do and not stepping a toe out of line, right? So
Yeah.
learning again to set those boundaries and say, no, that's just not something I have capacity for right now, or no, I really just I don't like doing that, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
That's one of the most powerful, I think, like big milestones you get to when you're a
Yes.
survivor, when you're moving along this spectrum, is learning that your no
Yeah.
is safe, and learning to differentiate between people with whom it is safe and people with whom it's not. Like, I've stepped into workout classes where the coaches will not let you modify, or will like give you crap if you modify.
Mm.
I don't go back to those classes. They don't get my money because they're not a safe
Right.
place for me.
Right. Right. And it's again, it's all rooted in trusting yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I know this isn't going to serve me, so I'm going to choose not to go back.
Yep.
And they may never know that,
Right.
but I've decided it,
Right.
and it's a boundary for myself. Yeah.
Yep.
Um it's really about, too, like, who gets access to you.
Mm-hmm.
Limiting exposure.
Yep.
Right now, the news, the world is on fire. It does not serve my mental health to look at the news every single day.
Right.
I have a blurb that comes into my email from a trusted
Yep.
source. I lightly read it, like I scan it,
Yep.
and then instantly I know, like,
Can't do it
I
today.
can't go down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
Um, and there's guilt because I want to remain engaged. However, half of the stuff in the news impacts us directly as survivors, and it doesn't serve. So again, nobody else needs to know, but it's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Right.
And that's for myself. And that's a boundary.
It's a boundary, and I mean, we can't be engaged long term and take action on things we care about long term if we're so dysregulated and burnt out that we can't function, right? So
Right.
by setting that boundary, you are still engaging. You're making sure that you're able to engage in things that you want to engage in long term. Again, it's building
Yeah.
that infrastructure rather than thinking about just the immediate, the immediate action.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other one I wanted to talk about, and we have an amazing person that's editing our videos, and we are having so much fun talking, and we think that we're nailing it on our time. And
We are
then
not.
we look at the video and we're like, oh, that was like over an hour. And not that y'all wouldn't listen to us talk for over an hour, but I'm moving us along because I'm realizing that we're not halfway through our stuff and we have so much to talk
There's
about.
so much to say.
But I wanted to talk about the unsexy stuff, which is the daily micro practices.
Yeah.
That stuff that we don't consider self-care. I mean, in today's world, getting sleep seems like a luxury. That's fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I need sleep. That's what I need. Everybody is different on what they need to sleep or how to sleep or how many hours. But we're talking about being consistent with sleep and wake time. We are setting ourselves up to be able to know, to say no, to be able to go do the exercise, which is going to help our body feel better. And this takes time. Like it's discipline, it's hard work. But it's self-care in motion.
Yeah.
And so, eating regularly. I know for me, you saw me all sipping on my protein shake. I forget to eat. And part of my journey was I would go all day. I'd prepare food for my kids. I'd go from activity to activity. And it would be 4:00 in the afternoon. And I'd be like, oh, I forgot to eat lunch. Oh, wait, I'd actually never ate breakfast. And so I have needed to learn how to incorporate healthy eating. Now, it includes chocolate and ice cream.
Obviously.
No, like not going to shy away from that. But it's something that I need to remind myself of and something that I need to do. And I'm not a big drinker of water, but guess what? It's healthy. Yep. Everybody's going to tell you to do it for a reason.
Need it. Yep.
So I have my flask here.
Yep.
And I try to drink it. Some people drink 4 or 5 of these. I'm like,
oh, that's me.
I'm doing one. Okay. I'm like, oh, again, it's 5:00. I don't drink any water. But these are the unsexy stuff that you're not going to see on Instagram that sells you, hey, drink your water.
Right.
Go to sleep on time.
Go to sleep on time. Yep. Have you, make sure, sometimes, again, especially when you're first getting out of a situation of abuse, everything feels overwhelming, right? So sometimes self-care is literally just, have you brushed your teeth today? Right?
Yes.
Like these, even those tiny, tiny little things help to build that self-trust that, okay, even if I can't do a lot today, I can still take care of my basic needs.
Yes. I talk to clients about this all the time. It's something that I developed when I was going through it. And now when crisis hits, it's still something. It's 5 things. So I use my hand. So it's very remindable. But it's, did I eat protein? Because goodness knows we can live on crackers and chocolate, but protein is going to sustain us, right? So some days that looked like I ate a spoon of peanut butter right before I went to bed because I was like, I didn't eat protein today. Like it can be a gamut, but it was eating protein. It was staying hydrated with water because we can drink coffee, we can drink soda, we can do wine, but water is important, right? Did I get outside? Even if I stuck my head out the window and took a deep breath and go, okay, that's air for today.
Right.
It's fresh air. It changes perspective. And there's science to back up all of this. Moving your body, which you have talked about so often, right? Maybe that's just walking the dog around the block. Yep. Maybe that's taking an exercise class.
Maybe just standing up from the couch and jumping up and down a couple of times.
Exactly. Right? I was going to say up and down the stairs, right? That's it. But it's moving your body and getting out of your head and getting out of your
spiral.
Yeah. And then the last one, and again, we're going to have an episode on spirituality, but it's either practicing gratitude or connecting with your soul. Maybe that's prayer, maybe that's meditation, gratitude, but it's thinking. It's again, taking you out of what's going on here, connecting with heart and kind of going, okay, what can I be grateful for? What can I pray about? What can I meditate about? Because this is a season and I'm not going to live here forever,
right.
But I want to continue to move forward.
Right. Yeah. It's reminding yourself that there is something bigger than this shitty moment that you're in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So
They're not glamorous, but they're the
no, they're
building
not
blocks.
glamorous, but
Right.
they build it up. It's those building blocks, and you can't. Again, it's the band-aid over the bullet hole. If you just go for the glamorous stuff without doing these more foundational things, it's not gonna do anything for you in the long term. It's not gonna move you along in your healing, right?
So I have a question.
Shoot.
So the section we titled this was like the daily micro
Hmm.
practices, right? However, would you agree that therapy should be on the list of the unsexy
Oh
stuff?
yeah, yes.
Okay.
I, when I first got for the first couple of years, if I could have afforded to go to therapy every single day, I probably would have because I got so much out of it. But yeah, it's very often unsexy,
Oh,
and
it's yeah.
yeah, you ugly cry and you walk out often not feeling great immediately, or
Great.
you walk out with homework that you don't want to do, like telling yourself I love you in the mirror, right? It's
Right.
it's not sexy, it's not glamorous, it's hard work, but it is it's absolutely
It's
necessary. You can't,
essential.
yeah, it's foundational. You
Yeah.
can't do this, especially in the early days, without professional support, professional help.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that. Um I actually went to therapy twice a week when I first got out of my situation. I was afforded that ability, and it was yeah, I don't think I would be here today if it wasn't for that. And now, even now, I'm in therapy. I gauge it. So there's sometimes I'm like, okay, I actually don't need to see you week to week. How about
Mhm.
we touch once a
Yeah.
month? So I think it's always a resource in our pocket. But it is unsexy to figure out on your insurance what provider to go to,
Yeah.
what provider specializes in trauma. I think that's
Connect
really
with.
important, right? Who you connect with. So you can go through all of the work completely unsexy.
Mhm.
So unsexy.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you said that, because I just looking at our list and I'm like,
We're missing something.
it's not a micro practice, but it is essential.
Mhm. And it does take commitment, right? If we're thinking of micro practices
Yeah,
as the not like one and done kind of things, you have to do them consistently to see the impact. Therapy
yeah,
counts as that. And
absolutely.
I do want to acknowledge again, you and I are speaking from a place of privilege. We could afford therapy,
Absolutely.
right? And there are not as many as there need to be, but there are lower cost options
Yes.
for this kind of professional support. There are professional support groups. There are
Yes.
survivors groups. There are resources out there if you, like many of us in the world, can't afford to do therapy
Yes.
every day or twice a week or even once a week. There are resources out there, and we're going to be listing those and including those in our resources list
Yep.
as well. I do just want to
Yeah.
acknowledge that going
Thank
it
you.
shouldn't be, but going to therapy is a privilege in this country.
Yes.
So there
Yeah.
are there are other ways to get support, even if that is not within your financial realm. At the
Yes.
moment.
Yes. And I would acknowledge also that one of our superpowers as survivors is being resourceful
Hmm.
and adapting.
Hmm.
And so we figure it out. So yeah, thank you for that reminder. I appreciate that. So I think that was the things that we wanted to cover for this podcast.
Yeah.
For that section, because I'm like, oh crap, we didn't talk about that or that. Okay.
Again, we could do this all
Um,
day, every day, and I feel like we still not
yes,
run out of
yes.
things to say.
But we did talk about we have in a previous episodes talked about how advocates and
Hmm.
allies can help us on our journey.
Yeah.
And so I did want to touch upon
Yeah.
that. Again, I'm going to ask Sarah what jumps out to you at the list that we created.
Yeah, I so the first one on the list, honestly, jumped out at me is don't prescribe self-care. And Lisa, I know you and I are sitting here making like all these recommendations, but we're framing it from a
Yeah.
place of give this a try if you want. If it doesn't work for you, move on, right? We're removing the shoulds. Nobody's shoulding on themselves here. So if you're an ally or
No.
an advocate or a family member, instead of saying you should do this, you should try yoga, you should try meditation, make it an invitation Say, hey,
Yeah.
I'm going to this workout class. I think you might really love it. Would you like to come with me?
Yeah.
Or asking the survivor in your life, what do you need to feel regulated right now? How can I support you in that? Right? So instead of pushing your idea or society's idea or whatever of self-care on them, it goes back to that active listening that we keep talking about, right?
Yeah.
Just step back and stop talking for a minute and listen to what they need, what they're telling you they need, and then believe them on that, right? If the survivor in your life is
Right.
like, no, I really need to just rot in bed today and watch television and eat
Yeah.
snacks, trust them, believe them that that is what they need.
Yeah. 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 I love how I have people in my life that'll say, "You seem really anxious. What's going on?"
Mm-hmm.
Right? In a situation, or I've seen something on TV, or I've heard something, or someone dropped something in conversation. So just even that language of like what feels most regulated, I think even just by saying, "Hey, something, I feel like something just shifted.
Yeah.
How can I support you in that?" Yeah, I think is great. And then to build off that, um, I am guilty of this. I know this to be true. Is being judgmental
Mm-hmm.
of others' self care,
Yep.
right? And what
Yep.
wellness culture tells us we should do. Um, some people will tell you you should exercise hardcore 3 times a week, and you should do gentle movement too. You should be in movement all the time,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's not going to serve somebody. That's just,
No.
that may not be what a survivor needs. Again, invitation to I was actually, someone invited me to kickboxing like 20 times before I accepted it, but they didn't even know, I wasn't really even friends with them at the point, but they knew some of my story and said, "I think you would really benefit from this." Um, but just catch yourself if you're thinking like, hmm, that doesn't seem like self care to be watching Netflix and ordering pizza. That doesn't seem like, I know, or thinking, I know she said she really wanted to work on eating healthier.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem like a healthy choice. Trust them.
Yep.
We are ebb and flow. We are regulating our nervous system.
Yep.
It may seem confusing to watch us. It's super confusing for us.
Right? If you're confused from the outside, like try being in this. Come on now.
Up and down all the time. Or thinking if they just got out of bed and walked for 20 minutes, they'd feel so much better.
Right.
Just keep those thoughts to
Those are
yourself.
inside thoughts.
Don't say
Yep.
them. Don't say them.
Yep.
And then instead replacing those thoughts, right? Like their self-care
Mm-hmm.
looks different than mine. It looks different than what I think it should be. Getting through today is self-care
Self-care.
when you're healing from trauma.
Yep.
I may not know what that trauma is, but they're working really, really hard to just be standing upright right now and like getting through their day.
Yeah. And to go along with that, if you are genuinely concerned about a survivor in your life, or you want to help them with their self-care, make concrete offers, right? Instead of just telling someone you need to get more sleep, you really have to try to get more sleep. Okay, how can you make that happen, right? Can you offer to watch their kids for an hour or two during the day so they can take a nap or something, right? If you're concerned that they've been laying in bed watching Netflix for a day or two, call them up and say, "Hey, I'm going for a walk. Do you want to join me?" Right? Offer that companionship, not just telling them that they should move their bodies. Give concrete support, not just general recommendations.
Yeah. Yeah. And respecting their boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
right? About wellness.
Yep.
If someone says, "Actually, I can't do
Yep.
baths," it triggers me. A beautiful response would be like, "Thanks for sharing that with
Mm-hmm.
me. I didn't know."
Yeah.
Um, or I need people around me to feel safe. Oh, I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
That I get that,
Yep.
right? So it doesn't have to be some big thing. It can simply be an acknowledgement
Right.
and gratitude of they're
That
sharing something with
they
you.
feel safe enough
Doesn't
to
mean
share
they
with you.
want to, they exactly. And not that you need to ask them, "Oh, why do you feel safer around people?"
Right.
Why do baths trigger you? Don't need to know. They probably don't want to talk about it,
Right.
but they're being honest enough and vulnerable that it's just that, wow, thanks.
Right. Respect that boundary. Don't feel like they're just being stubborn, right? Or,
Right.
oh, this person is so difficult. What they need changes day to day. Yes, it does. Like that's just, if you want to be in a survivor's life, that's just something you have to accept. It
Yeah.
does change day to day. And again, if it's frustrating for
Yeah.
you, imagine how frustrating it is for us to not wake up every day
Right.
knowing what we need, right? So, respecting the boundaries goes along with the non-judgment. Like we're not trying to be difficult. We're not trying to be stubborn. We're again just trying to build that infrastructure so that we can go on and lead a life and build a life that we love and that we deserve to live.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the other one too is like model authentic self-care.
Hmm.
Um
Not performative.
Not performative. Like, oh, you know what? I took 5 minutes at lunch or 15 minutes at lunch to drink my coffee because I didn't want to go into the building.
Yep.
Or my kids were driving me crazy, so I locked myself in the bathroom for 20 minutes and
Right.
pretended like I was
I
taking a
went and
shower.
drove around the block for a while. Yep.
By you showing and being genuine and authentic, it again speaks to our perfectionism
Hmm.
and our rigidity sometimes
Hmm.
because we've had to be that way
Hmm.
to just go, oh, I'd never even considered that driving around the block would help you.
Yeah.
Like, wow, maybe I should try it. Right? Like it opens up dialogue.
Hmm.
It shows that you're not perfect, but also shows as a healthy human that you need self-care practices
Right.
too and that you do things that work for you.
Right. And that we all have those ebbs and flows, right? And that it's not, the survivor isn't so broken, right? The all the stuff on social media that makes it all seem sexy and pretty and effortless and easy,
Right.
from the survivor's perspective, that can make you feel like a failure. I mean, I feel like from a lot of people's perspectives, that can make you feel like a failure. Like, oh, it's so easy for
Oh
these
yeah.
people. What am I doing wrong? Why can't I get it right? Right. So being
Right.
willing to show that that's not always the case, that can take away some of that pressure to do what you should be doing and to quote unquote
Yeah.
get it right.
Yeah. Because that is a running theme that's always in the background.
Mhm.
I should, I should be doing this.
It should be better.
I'm such a screw up. Um, I have to do it this way. I'm going to be in trouble. Like there's so many things that we battle inside of our heads
Mhm.
that we navigate really. Like it's a maze
Yeah.
sometimes. So for someone to be genuine and authentic while respecting us
Yeah.
is
It
huge.
helps to yeah, it helps to just stop that tape from running continually.
Oh, the tapes. Burn the tapes.
Burn.
Burn them.
Oh, so I mean,
Oh,
we could keep going for another like 3 hours, honestly. But we won't.
yeah.
just
We're
just
calling it.
to recap, self-care, real self-care is not always sexy. It's oftentimes not sexy. It's not about perfection. It's not about
Yeah.
the immediate payoff. It's building that foundation for the life that you genuinely want to live. And if no one said it to you lately, I'm going to say it. You deserve to live that life, right? You deserve to live the life
Yes.
that is yours.
Yes. And you get to make it
Yeah.
whatever you want it to be, right? So, an invitation for everyone that's listened today, like choose a practice, even if it's something we haven't listed,
Hmm.
whether you're an advocate, an ally, if you're a survivor, think of a way that you can take care of yourself. And we encourage you to try it. That's always the invitation.
Yeah.
Um,
And give yourself
Pay
permission
attention.
to let it not work too, to try something new and have it not be a win. And that's perfectly okay.
Yeah. Have some fun with
Yeah.
it. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Yeah, remember, I love this last reminder, like self-care is the infrastructure for your healing work. It's not the reward.
Yes.
There's purpose, there's opportunity to continue to build for the bigger picture. And it's so vital.
And you don't have to
Um
earn taking care of yourself. You deserve to take care of yourself.
yes, absolutely. It's the ultimate, it is the foundation of your healing. It is.
Yeah.
Um so um Again, we're going to invite you to share what resonated with you if you feel comfortable. There on the comments. We would love to know what actually works for you. Share it with other survivors if something we touched upon worked for you or didn't. Give us ideas.
Yeah,
we're in process.
Practices, come
on. We thank you for joining us. We acknowledge that the world is very busy. So for you to take time to listen to us just warms our heart and helps us heal. Mm-hmm. And please share this with others that you think would benefit. Our contact information is below, so please reach out if you would like to speak with either of us. And as always, stay safe and take care of yourselves. Just take care of yourselves. Yeah. And until next time, this May Get Raw, Building Wise Resilience. And until next time, remember,
you've survived the storm and now it's time to thrive. So keep rising.